Hi, welcome to Iconic Impact, 5 tips to maximize your business growth online. My name is Stephanie Rose. I'm really excited that you're here. In case you don't know who I am a photographer, videographer, and branding expert, and I work primarily in Calgary, Alberta, but also all across Canada and North America. What I do is I help people and businesses build brands that are actually authentic, that feel good, that match who they actually are, match their values, and are super cool and hot. Because we don't want to compromise the things we care about for the cool factor, because we know that in this economy and with this level of competition online, you have to have it all. So that's what I'm here to help you do, is to have it all. I really hope that you follow me on Instagram and that we can connect. So send me a DM after you've watched this and let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what was your big aha moment. I can't wait to hear from you. So my handle is @WestrosMedia. Make sure you jump on there, follow me, and just connect a little bit. I can't wait. Okay, let's dive in. We're all busy. Let's get to the actual point because I hate messing around. So the very first thing that you want to do when you are trying to grow a business, grow a brand, be authentic in the online space and actually make it profitable, because that's what we want, right? We don't want to just waste our time posting and not have it come to anything. We are busy. We got things to do. We got the world to change. Let's make sure that the internet and all of the options online are working for us, not against us. So my very first tip is boosting your visibility. Make sure that you are actually online consistently showing up, and showing up in a way that's actually you. I work with clients in this all of the time. Lots of people go, they get a photo shoot done, they see the pictures, they're really like stiff and awkward, like, cheesy LinkedIn stuff, and it doesn't match their personality and it doesn't match their brand. It might bring in inquiries, but then those people end up not being the right clients because it's not authentic. It doesn't match who they actually are. And then they got a major problem. They've got the people they don't want to work with and money they really need, but it's not meshing. And then you just get frustrated in your business. And that's what we don't want. So what we're doing is we're going to be boosting our visibility by showing up in places online that actually vibe with the people we want to work with, right? So in my terms, we call this your ideal client. We do a lot of work with this. I do a lot of work with this with my clients, is like figuring out who are we actually talking to. But if you haven't done that background work yet, just think about who is your favorite client you've ever worked with. Who are the kind of people you wish, like you see them on your line, you're like, oh man, if that person was my client, I'd be so happy. Who is that person? And then think about, where are they hanging out online? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they out and about in the real world? Do they hate social media? Do they love it? Figuring out who those people are and then making sure you're showing up authentically in your brand in those spaces, right? If you know that your ideal client loves TikTok and hates Facebook, then ditch Facebook and stick to TikTok, or vice versa. Just make sure that you're looking at, who do I want to work with? And am I showing up in the spaces they're already hanging out? If you know that your ideal client is on Instagram for 3 hours a day, then you best be on Instagram giving them consistent content that they can find. This brings us to point number 2, which is creating high impact content. So what is high impact content? It's content that actually makes a difference. It's content that actually convinces people to buy or work with you. It's the kind of content that doesn't just people go like, moving on. It's the kind of content that they're like, oh, they're clicking links, they're following you, they're asking for more information, they're sliding into your DMs. That's high impact content, because you can post as many times as you want a day. But if people aren't in your DMs, if people aren't clicking on your links, if people aren't pressing buy or sign up or work with me, then it's not high impact enough. And it's very easy to tell, is your content high impact or not? Very easy litmus test for this. Just look at your DMs. Are they full? And if they are they full with people who want to work with you? Or are they full with people who are just like, hey, you're cool, love your content? What we want is your DMs full of people who want to work with you, your sales full, people clicking, people buying, people wanting to work with you, people filling out your inquiry form, people saying, hey, how can I work with you? I love your vibe. What can we do together? That's what we're going for. So if you're not already experiencing all of those things on your online platforms, then we got to change something, right? So if you're like, oh, I don't have those things, do not fear. It's okay. You can change them and you can work on that. So what you need to do is make sure that every time you post, you think about how is this going to benefit that favorite client, that like dream client that I'm looking for? How is this going to make their life better? Am I showing them what I can do for them? Am I giving them a piece of advice I know they need? Am I showing them that I can relate to them and that I can understand the struggles they're going through? Or maybe you've already gone through them and you're showing them how to get there too. How can you transform their life and make sure that every piece of content works with that? So we always really want to be sharing, our authentic selves and who we really are. To me, it's super important that my audience knows who I am. I tell my story all the time. My story about how I grew up really religious, and then I came out later in life and I grew this beautiful business where I help empower people to grow businesses that feel like them and like feel good and authentic and not cheesy and weird. That's my whole shtick. That's my whole thing, is that's what I went through. I know what it's like, and I want to help you build something better than what I have. And that's my whole thing. And I talk about that all the time. So that's how I help people transform. I help people go from, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be accepted for who I am, for what I stand for. Instead of feeling worried about that, I help them build a brand that is going to make them feel so incredibly solid and happy and proud, and shows off who they truly are in an authentic way that doesn't feel like they're sharing too much. And it really helps build a solid foundation so they can build a business that's going to grow for years and years and years, not be a flash in the pan, not be something they're restarting every 20 minutes, something that can serve them and future generations for a long time. So when I share parts of my life online, I make sure it always comes back to that, right? If I'm showing me and the kids having a great time, I'm showing that this is how I built a business while also raising kids, coming out, going through a divorce, all of these things. I make sure that I bring it around every single time. So when you're creating this high impact content, make sure you're thinking about, like, does my ideal client care about this? And if they don't post it. That's the actual basis. We go into this very deeply in the complete brand building program, which I have, which takes you from zero to hero, all the way from like, I don't really know what I'm posting. I'm not really sure what my brand is. Like, is it a color? Is it a logo? No, it's so much more than that. And we go all the way from the base to like solidly built, you're making content and you're getting sales, the whole thing. So if you're interested in that, send me a DM. I can send you more information. Okay, so number 3 is we are going to be building authentic connections. So when you are online and you're doing this content and you're like, oh yeah, okay, like this is how it's going to help my amazing clients that I'm going to work with. This is how it relates to my client. All of these things, like you're thinking strategy. We also want to build authentic connections, right? How awkward is it if you go to a party and you just want to like stand there and be like, here's my business card, work with me. And then you're unwilling to even talk to somebody, right? We want to remember that social media is social. So build some connections, reach out to people. When you are online, after you've done some posting, go and talk to some people. And if you're like, oh, I'm awkward, yeah, me too. It's okay. Slide into someone's DMs, comment on photos, comment on videos, tell people who you think are cool that you think they're cool. Tell them that you love the work you're doing. Ask to be on someone's podcast. Say to somebody who has a really close following than you do, hey, do you want to do an Instagram live together? Make sure you're building connections so that you're growing your network. And it doesn't have to just be like, oh, I'm going to talk to that person because I hope they buy from me. No, it's going to be, I'm trying to grow something authentic and real that I want to last for a long time. And I want people around me who have those similar goals, who have those similar things that they're going for, who are really truly like authentic and alive in themselves. And I want to be around more people like that. So do that online. Reach out to people, talk to people, network, say, hey, listen, I'm a little awkward doing this online, but I have this really cool business and your business looks really cool. Like, do you want to chat about it sometime? Do you want to grab a coffee? Send them something that you think is helpful. Ask, do they want to be on your podcast? Can I be on your podcast? All the ways that you can network with people and just really build this community of people who are also doing things like you. Because there's like this saying that you're most like the 5 people you're around the most. And if you are looking around thinking, I really want to build a super cool, authentic business, I want to do what's like on my heart to do. I want to like be cool and ambitious and do fun, cool things, but the people around you are not doing any of those things, then it's time to find some new connections. It's time to reach out to people and be like, hey, you're doing something really cool and I want to do cool things. Can we link up? And I know it's scary at first. I am very good speaking on stage. I've gotten very good speaking on camera, but in social situations when there's a whole bunch of people, I also get nervous. So I get it. Just one step at a time, reach out little by little and start to build your community and your network. Okay? All right. Tip number 4 is streamline your social media strategy. So we don't want to be spending our whole lives online, right? We want to make sure that the content we're making is impactful. It's not taking us forever to make. It matches our brand and we're actually saying the right things to the right people and not spending our whole lives online. I've spent so much time with my VIP clients helping them set up these strategies, helping them set up content calendars. But the very basics of what you can do is make sure, even if the very base level, you just have a little checklist in your diary, on your phone, wherever, and every single day you say, have I spoken to my ideal client and have I sold today? That's the very base. We go very, very deeply into this in the Complete Brand Building Program. And we talk about the strategy of what are the buyer types, how do they buy, what kind of content do they need to buy, how to determine what your audience actually is, and then we set up a full schedule from that. But that's pretty advanced, and you get to that by building the brand inside the program. But for now, if all you can wrap your head around is, am I consistently showing up? How am I tracking it, right? Because you can have this great social media strategy of like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. But if you don't post it and you don't actually track that you're posting it, then you're going to be like, oh, I failed again. I didn't do all the things I said I was going to do. But if you have that habit tracker saying, yes, every single day I posted this week selling something, then you know you're on the right track. And then you're going to start get the feedback, right? Then you start getting the DMs and people will say, oh, I'm confused about that. And then you're like, oh, now I know what to make more content about, the thing people keep asking questions about. And you get that feedback. But if you're not consistently doing that and you don't have some kind of strategy to keep you in line, then you're going to be very tempted to drop into that, oh, I'm not doing good enough, or I'm not doing enough. And I love having some data, all the little check marks. I love a good habit tracker, like my favorite, my absolute favorite thing. It's like filling in the little circles or checking off the little boxes to know that, hey, you know what, I am doing enough. So then when my mind is like, oh, I'm just like not doing good enough, or the day feels bad, so I'm going to think everything is bad, I have that data, I have that proof that I'm doing the things and I can now move forward and try more. Okay? So number 5, our very last tip, I told you I'd keep it short and sweet, and I keep my promises, is driving consistent business growth. So what do I mean by that? I mean that we are going to consistently be doing things that are going to help grow your business. And if you know what things are going to help you grow, perfect. Make sure you're tracking it. Make sure you're doing it. Off you go to the races. If you are like, I actually don't know what's going to grow my business, I don't know what I actually need, you need to start with having a very solid brand. You have to start with really, really good, impactful content that actually matches who you are so you feel good about it and you actually do it. And you have to make sure that your messaging is so on point that people are already convinced to buy before they click your button, before they go into your DMs, right? We're making content that is going to take them through the whole process. We talk about this a lot in the Complete Brand Building Program, but basically the basics of it are, we're going to make content that is going to show them who we are as a business, who we are as a personal brand. We're going to make content that's going to show them, what do we offer? Like, what are we even doing here? What's the point of this brand? And then we're going to take their objections and show them how we can help, right? So objections are things like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, it's too far away, the shipping is too much, things like that, or I'm scared to do it. All of these things. How are you going to make sure that your content manages all of those things so that your social media is an asset to you and not a liability. So that your social media is so set up with all of this pieces of content that are showing people all about your brand, all about how it's going to help them, so that you can log off, go away for the weekend, and it's going to run itself. People are going to be able to go through, crush your content, and be like, okay, I'm sold. Click buy now. And then you are sitting on the beach or in the mountains and sales are coming through. That's the goal. If all of this funnel of the beautiful brand, the foundation, the good content, the ease of access for the customer, if all of it is working together, then your social media is basically like an employee working for you for free in your business instead of something that you dread doing, something that you dread looking at. That's what we're going for. We're going for your social media being your very, very best employee because it's bringing people in, it's telling them what they need to know, and it's driving them to click now, and it's sending you the money. That's what we want. We want it to be something that benefits your life, doesn't stress you out. And if you're feeling like, oh my God, this is a lot, like this seems like a lot, I don't know if I can handle all these things on my own, I got you. This is literally what I do for clients every single day. I help people with the courses that I've made, and I help people, my VIP clients, one-on-one build this. But if you're like, hey, you know what? I'm just starting out. I just need something. I just need something to go through and actually build this up because it's time that I take this really, really seriously. Then I would suggest jumping into the Complete Brand Building Program. What it is a program that takes you all the way from like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I need a whole revamp, all the way through. We talk about the brand, we talk about the colors, we talk about the logos, we talk about the graphics, we talk about all of that. We talk about how to build it authentically, how to find out who is that ideal client, how to start messaging to them, how to get confident on camera, how to actually film things so they look good. All of it is included. Literally every single question you have about building a beautiful brand and turning it into sales is completely in this program. That's why it's called the Complete program, because it's very complete. And the amazing fun bonus about that is you don't just get the course that you work through on your own time. You also get to work with me. So we have check-ins with this program because I know that you start something and then you go, I have a question. But if I pre-recorded it, you can ask those questions. So what we have is we have check-ins every other week where you can come and ask me your questions. So if you have questions about this, slide into my DMs and ask me, or hit the link, jump in. It's going to be the thing that revolutionizes your brand, and I'm so excited to see you get started. Now, please make sure that you go on Instagram, let me know what you thought of this and what your biggest takeaway was, and I can't wait to see you grow, and I can't wait to see you expand, and I can't wait for you to slide into my DMs and be like, oh my God, I used the tips that you told me about, and now I just got 5 more sales. Yeah! That's what I'm excited for. And make sure that you also go to my social media and find out more about my story. I talk about it a lot, and I think that you can probably connect with it because we've all been through something that was scary, that was hard, that was life-shattering, and had to come out through it. And in my opinion, the people who are the most fun to work with are the ones who take those hard times and they turn them into something gold. They turn them into something better than it was instead of just surviving. And that's my favorite kind of people. I also have a podcast where we chat about that a lot. So there are so many ways that you can grow. There's so many tips you can get. You can go to my social media and you can binge all the tips I tell you, and you'll have more content than you know what to do with. So there's no excuses for not following these tips and making some serious change and growing your business. I can't wait to see where you go. Again, my name's Stephanie, and I'll talk to you soon.